Senator Dave McCormick of Pennsylvania, thanks so much for joining us here at Breitbart News at the Republican Jewish Coalition's 40th anniversary. You had an incredible run for Senate, tried the first time, came narrowly close, won the second time, 15,000 votes. How is Pennsylvania feeling as a swing state? Do you feel you're building support? Do you feel the party's growing?
I feel like we're building support. I feel like the party is slowly moving in the direction of being a red state. And there's two reasons for that, I think. One reason is the other side has embraced a set of radical progressive policies that are just completely out of touch with most Americans, let alone most Pennsylvanians. And the second thing is President Trump ran on a very specific agenda. I ran on a very similar agenda, and he's delivering on those promises, whether it's stopping the flow of fentanyl, killed 4,000 Pennsylvanians last year, whether it's unlocking energy, which is a huge deal for Pennsylvania. We're the fourth largest natural gas reserves in the world, second largest energy producer in America. So we've got this Republicans on the move doing what they promised, and I'm voting for those things. And we've got the left becoming even more extreme. And I think that puts us in a good position to hopefully make Pennsylvania a place where Republicans can consistently win.
Let's talk about the economy. We have an uneven economy, rapid growth over 3%, which any president would be proud of. But we've had a lag in the labor market where jobs haven't been growing as quickly. And many people say it's the AI revolution. What does that feel like on the ground in Pennsylvania? How's your state doing so far?
Yeah, Pennsylvania is unique. If you believe that this battle for AI dominance and energy dominance is the existential fight for the future of the world, if you believe China's our main opponent, which I do, then Pennsylvania is the point of the spear in terms of leading that charge. We have this incredible energy capability. We have unbelievable skilled workers who can build things, energy infrastructure, data centers. We have the best universities and some of the best in the country, Carnegie Mellon, University of Pennsylvania, Penn State. So we've got all the ingredients to make us in a leadership position. We just have to lead. And that's what's happening. You know, we hosted, my wife and I, an energy summit in July where the president came, his cabinet came. We announced $92 billion of new investments. So ironically, I think for Pennsylvania, this revolution is going to create more blue-collar jobs, welders, pipe fitters, steam fitters, electricians, because there's so much infrastructure that's coming. I think it also is probably going to put pressure on white-collar jobs. If you're a lawyer or a porter or things like that, where much of that can be fulfilled by AI, then I think there's going to be a lot of pressure. New jobs will be created, but old white-collar jobs are going to be eliminated. So we've got to arm the next generation of young people to have them become very capable in taking advantage of AI so they can be part of the new opportunities that are created. But it's going to be disruptive. There's no big moment in American history where there's been huge change that there's not disruption. So we got to get the advantages of the revolution and then mitigate those costs, those downside effects.
You're in a unique position in Pennsylvania, one that's especially unusual in this polarized age of politics, where your Democratic counterpart, John Fetterman, has surprised everybody by being more moderate than his party, more moderate than he was as a candidate. And this is a very important time for people to see that. Describe that relationship. I mean, obviously you're in different parties, vote for different things most of the time, but.
Well, I admire him. He's become a friend. We try to work together whenever we can. Make no mistake, he campaigned against me.
Okay.
And we got to know each other after the election. And, he and I disagree on more things than we agree on. He's got a very progressive voting record and believes in those things. So we have a lot of differences. But the thing that's great about him is we're looking for ways to find common ground on things we can find common ground on, whether it's anti-Semitism, support for Israel, fracking, closing the borders, fentanyl. My first bill I introduced, he was the co-sponsor, was fentanyl. So, on the things we can work together on, the government shutdown.
Right, he wants to stop the shutdown.
Absolutely, and listen, I've said publicly, if roles were reversed and the Democrats were in the majority in the House and the Senate and the White House, I'd vote to open the government because it's irresponsible to try to hold the government hostage. The working people of Pennsylvania who don't get SNAP benefits to get your political priorities in place. So there's a huge opportunity for the senator and I, Senator Fetterman, to find great ways to help Pennsylvanians, and that's what we've tried to do. And it's made it, honestly, it's made it more fun because we disagree. We say, okay, we're not going to make progress in that, but these things we can work together on to help the people of Pennsylvania.
It's really exemplary because that's something I think Americans are struggling to do, and you're setting an example. Last question, you've been very generous with your time. You mentioned in your address to the Republican Jewish Coalition, and it was very well received, the need to confront anti-Semitism. And of course, we've seen it on the left with Zohran Mamdani in New York.
Yeah.
But we've also seen it on the right, and you mentioned that. What does the Republican Party need to do to make sure that doesn't take over the conservative movement?
Well, I think it's important to start. I think it's a very small part of the party, but there's certainly been voices that have arisen that are anti-Semitic, and I think we need to speak loud and clear that those aren't the values of the Republican Party. It is not our values to embrace anti-Semitism. It's not our values to embrace hate. It's not our values to embrace Hitler, to say Hitler is a cool guy. So we have to be very clear and show moral clarity that that's not what we believe. Second, we shouldn't give those folks platform. We shouldn't give them an opportunity to spew those views. And if they're going to spew those views, we certainly have to challenge those views and make sure that that the reality of the hatred and what lies behind it is revealed. And that didn't happen on the Democratic side. This anti-Semitism hit fever pitch, and the leadership in the party didn't fight back enough. We got to make sure that we don't repeat that mistake on the Republican side.
Some would say if you're not giving them a platform, that's like canceling them. But you're saying, no, we're not censoring them. You can say whatever you want, but we're just not going to give you the stage.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, you can't embrace and give stage to things that you fundamentally disagree with that aren't based in fact and that are driven by hatred. And that's the dividing line. I'm not someone who's ever going to stand in the way of the First Amendment. People can say what they wish to say. We just don't have to magnify it and amplify it for the world as if to suggest that we somehow think it has credibility.
Senator McCormick, thanks so much for joining us
Yes,
at Breitbart
sir.
News.
Thank you. Good to see you.